Welcome to Inside the PSC, a look at the activities and inner workings of the Public Service Commission of West Virginia. I'm your host, Karen Hall, and my guest today is Chairman Charlotte R. Lane. Before we get started with our conversation, we're going to look at a video that the chairman recorded a while back asking you if you're interested in a career with Public Service Commission.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Lane, Chairman of the West Virginia Public Service Commission. Remember those old posters? A stern Uncle Sam looks out solemnly over a caption that says, "I want you for U.S. Army." Today isn't a check into nostalgia, and you're not wanted for the Army. This is my pitch to recruit you to the Public Service Commission. Like old Uncle Sam, our commission needs you too. If you're looking for interesting work, you couldn't find better than the commission. Looking for the exotic? Yes, we have that too. Any number of intriguing cases come before us. Looking for a place that will challenge your talents? Couldn't find better. Want to work where you can have a real impact, make a difference in the lives of many people? This is the spot. For the enormous amount of work we do, we have a tiny staff, fewer than 230 people. We need you. We particularly need people smart in math, in business, police officers, engineers, lawyers, and other specialists. If you are about to graduate from college in one of those areas, come see us. Know of a recent graduate in one of those fields? Let them know we're looking. Are you in a rut and need a change? That happens to a lot of people. If you've had a successful career in the private sector and you are considering a second career, we'd love to talk to you. Nearing retirement age but having second thoughts about the rocking chair? Come talk. The work is very satisfying. You use your brain to examine some of the most complex issues you'll ever face, but it's not all hard work. We have great hours, competitive salaries, and exceptional benefits. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Give us a chance to give you a chance. Call us at 304-340-0300. I don't want to sound like one of those commercials, but that number is worth repeating, 304-340-0300. You'll be pleasantly surprised, I suspect.
Absolutely true. You could not find a more rewarding career than working with the Public Service Commission. As I said before, our guest today is Chairman Charlotte Lane, and last month we were talking about the accomplishments of the Public Service Commission in 2023, and today we're going to continue that conversation. Chairman, it's great to have you back. Tell me where we left off. What happened in 2023?
The Public Service Commission got involved in a situation last November when the lines of two major utilities failed, causing misery for 1,500 families on Charleston's west side. When we learned of it, we issued an order opening a general investigation by the Commission. This has been split into two separate general investigations since then, looking into the response of West Virginia American Water and Mountaineer Gas after those failed lines. These are ongoing cases, so I can't discuss the details, but you can watch our progress by logging onto our website, clicking on case information, and plugging in case number 240043 or 240044.
Well, now, speaking of water-related matters, I know that a lot of your time last year was consumed with distressed utility cases. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
A recent report showed that we have 258 water utilities in the state. Likewise, there are almost 290 sewer utilities throughout our 55 counties. The Commission often deals with smaller utilities that can no longer effectively function. They can no longer supply clean, safe water to their customers, or they can no longer safely process and carry off sewage waste. The Public Service Commission recognized this problem shortly after I resumed my duties as chairman of the commission. As a result, we went to the legislature in 2020 and asked lawmakers to pass a new law that allowed us, on behalf of the public, to step in and stop mounting problems with water and sewer systems across the state. Using this law, we uncovered 18 utilities with major problems last year. In nearly a third of these cases, we stepped in to change control of the problem utilities. This is not an easy process. When we find a utility is failing and cannot provide the service it is designed to do, we must have another utility that can take it over. Sometimes this comes with fierce local resistance. Municipalities and public service districts often take great pride in their operations and don't want to give them up. I fear sometimes, out of this sense of pride, more than out of practicality, locals resist interference, particularly by the state.
And now I also understand that where you're not facing that kind of resistance, you often face another, and that is who wants to take over a failing utility.
Well, who wants to take on the financial burden and other headaches of a utility that is already in so much trouble that we are forced to step in to examine its operations? We then must find another company or district that can take on this new burden. Locals nearby with a healthy water system frequently want nothing to do with a neighbor in trouble. Trouble means added expense, and expense means higher rates. Nobody wants that, but in these cases, higher rates are as inevitable as taxes.
Well, now that sounds like a really difficult situation for everyone involved. Can you tell us about the problems you've encountered in some of those cases?
Yes, for example, we resolved one Northern Panhandle case last year that involved both a water and sewer utility, only to see the deal fall apart at the end of 2023. Financing we believed to be available did not come through, and so that case is staring us in the face again. And these cases range from the Eastern Panhandle to McDowell County. In the other cases, we found some systems to be distressed but not failing. We believe with some help from an outside source that has the proper skills and resources, such as the West Virginia American Water Company, we can inject management and financial advisory help. And maybe some of these systems can continue to function on their own. This last year, we declared distressed, but not failed, the system providing water to the Mount Olive Correctional Complex in Fayette County. We hope that with proper management advice that the system can right itself and become fully functional again. Still, in all of this, the primary concern of the Commission is ensuring that the consumers have clean water. And of course, we were vitally concerned about potential problems in the water supply to 1,000 prisoners in the custody of the state.
Well, now it sounds like this problem is really widespread. So how do so many of these systems get to be in such bad shape?
Many are aging and have not been properly maintained. It is often difficult to run lines they are expensive in our mostly rural state. Trained operators needed to run these complex systems are often hired away by more lucrative businesses. Tough economic times can take a toll on these systems. So how does the Commission know a system might be failing? This past year, the Commission added a new section to our website that provides a list of utilities that we have concerns about. These operations have not fallen into the distressed or failing category that might warrant an investigation, but they are causing us to develop concerns. This list is available as another part of our attempt at complete openness by the Commission. Click on Watch List at the bottom of the reports and publication sections of our website. It is right under another public information link we added last year, DU Cases, which lists more of the distressed utilities.
That's really good information, and I spend a lot of time on that website, so I happen to know that there's another section you added recently that deals with renewable energy, and that's really interesting.
Yes, we did. The Commission remains interested not only in traditional sources for generating electrical power, but also in alternative energy sources. These are wind and solar, and really any non-traditional sources for generating electricity. Since I have been chairman, the Commission has consistently welcomed these alternative energy applications, and we have always acted favorably on them when justified. Now, the public can track these decisions through another link that shows these efforts. It is labeled as Renewable Energy Projects, and it is also under the Reports and Publications section of our website. Last year, we approved a dozen alternative energy production sources, many of them on a shared basis with the state of Virginia. These projects are all out of state, but the energy they produce will benefit West Virginia customers. We have approved siting of major solar projects in Jefferson County and in Mason County, along with a funding system to help rehabilitate these former industrial sites for alternative energy use in north central West Virginia and in Berkeley County.
Now, I know that the Commission generally uses an all-of-the-above approach to energy, but part of that is keeping coal in the mix.
That's true. While alternative energy sources are interesting, the Commission has an obligation to make sure the lights come on when you go home and flip the switch. It is no secret that West Virginia relies heavily on coal as an energy source, and that coal is a major economic catalyst in this state. The legislature likes coal, Governor Justice does too, and coal remains the reliable backbone source of energy in this state and for a large part of the nation. I remember very well that terrible day in June, 12 years ago, when a storm called a derecho knocked out power across West Virginia. It took a little more than 2 weeks for power to be restored to 250,000 of us who were without electricity. I don't think I've ever been as concerned as I was when that derecho hit. People could not get gasoline. Water ran dangerously low. People were tormented by the July heat with no air conditioning. It brought home to me what it means when you go home and flick that switch and the lights won't come on.
You know, my neighbor showed me something that was kind of cool. He said, get the solar light and turn it upside down on your table, and that will light your room. So that was a really interesting little trick.
Huh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. So when that derecho happened, we were unsure when the nightmare would be over. That storm was an aberration, I know, but we still have to be concerned at all times that we need to make sure that we have a reliable source of energy on hand. Coal plants remain high on our list of reliable energy generators. I would like to count on what I am sure is reliable.
Now, 2023 was a really busy year for the Commission. So in addition to all the water woes and the upgrades to our website, you handled an unprecedented number of rate cases. Talk to us about those, if you would.
The Commission in 2023 faced more than $1.2 billion in rate filings by the major energy producers in the state. The cases range from a base rate increase, the most basic of cases, and generally the most expensive, to petitions to pay for the cost of utility fuel, repair and upkeep of operational plants and lines, and applications to keep distribution and transmission lines free from vegetation. All these cases get the high-profile scrubbing I described in our last interview. Some rate increases were granted, some were not, some are still pending. It is not an easy thing to be a judge in these cases. We are ratepayers too. We understand nobody likes to pay higher rates, but it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone that when we ask for public comments on rate increases, the overwhelming number of responses we get are negative. That's just human nature. We all want to hold onto the money we earn, but judges rarely are involved in simple things, and we sit on these cases as judges. The utilities have to pay for fuel to operate their plants. They have to pay to keep vegetation away from their lines. They have to pay for the upkeep to keep those lines. And somebody has to pay all of that for all of that. And ultimately, the person who must pay for those services is the person who enjoys the electricity they provide. But I also need to say that in addition to electricity cases, we had major water rate increases and major gas increases. So altogether, almost all of the major utilities last year came in for rate cases.
Well, and rate increases are always a bitter pill to swallow. But there was good news too, wasn't there?
Yes, there were some reduction in some utility rates last year. Natural gas rates for most of us came down last year. It was a little bit generally, but good news nonetheless. The prices that natural gas utilities pay their suppliers for gas is not regulated by the Commission. Instead, it is determined by the free market. This year, they showed a drop in purchase gas costs for most utilities of between 20 and 40%. Of course, the purchase gas rate is only one component of the overall gas bill, so overall rates are not dropping by that amount. The result was that for 89% of customers served by the state's two largest natural gas utilities should have had a bit of a bill reduction.
Well, and that is good news. But I know the Commission also did some other things last year to make things better for consumers, so maybe you could tell us about some of those.
Well, last year the Commission issued a number of important general orders to help people. For example, we told public service districts and cities to set up a system to allow utility customers to pay their bills online. We streamlined the formal complaint process to encourage mediation and to require it in some cases. Mediation allows people involved in complaint cases to work out a way to resolve their issues without litigation and without a whole lot of costs, I might add. Last year, we had 263 cases in mediation under Keith George's Office of Administrative Law Judges. They handled 184 mediation sessions. The result was 112 cases were successfully mediated. We also entirely changed the formal filing process to require electronic filing of cases and case information. And we revised the procedures to review transmission projects and the rules governing emergency telephone service, public safety, and wireless safety access.
Well, that's a lot. What did you do in your spare time?
Well, we like to stay busy. We prevented the Pleasant Power Plant in Pleasant County from being mothballed that eventually allowed the plant to be purchased by Omni Fuel Technologies. The operators plan to operate it as a clean technology plant, and I understand it has been producing power. While it is no longer our case, the governor says the company plans to invest $800 million in the plant. Our agency also opposed the new stringent air pollution rules proposed by the United States Environmental Protection Agency. Our term for these rules was unconscionable. The federal proposals were aimed at tightening pollution standards for electric generating plant sources. The Commission accused EPA of exceeding its authority by proposing these rules. We also said that these changes, if adopted, will lead to new and extended litigation, and it will also increase rates for all ratepayers in West Virginia. In a number of smaller but important cases, the Commission agreed to the acquisition by Hope Gas Company of several smaller gas utilities. Hope, which is based in Morgantown, is the second largest natural gas company in West Virginia. The companies involved sought the mergers, and many of them were within Hope's geographic area for doing business anyway.
Wow, okay, now I know that one of your very favorite subjects is the work that's done by our Transportation Division. Can you tell us what they accomplished last year?
Yes, the Commission's Transportation Division patrols the state's highways to protect motorists from speeding and overweight trucks. We added a fourth enforcement officer to patrol the West Virginia Turnpike last year. Commission inspectors examine commercial vehicles on all highways to ensure they are operating safely. We also cooperate with federal and other state agencies to guard against human trafficking and a host of other interstate violations. Last year, our officers inspected more than 21,000 trucks and more than 400 buses. Enforcement officers wrote violations in 380 cases. Our railroad safety section inspected nearly 30,000 locomotives and rail cars. They identified nearly 2,000 defects in the rail cars. They inspected more than 3,500 miles of railroad and 283 rail highway crossings. They identified more than 1,300 defective rail track conditions. Our coal resource transportation system inspectors reached a 99% weight limit compliance record in examining coal trucks in 2023. They monitored the activity of 157 coal facilities, 193 trucking companies, and more than 1,500 coal trucks. Our officers also helped get the nation's Christmas tree from West Virginia to Washington, D.C.
Wow. Now I see why you're so proud of them and why you talk about them so often. But, you know, another thing that I was thinking about that a lot of people maybe don't know about is the 20% discount program.
That's right. More than 61,000 people were helped under a utility discount program created by the legislature in 1983. That program allows qualifying residential customers to have reduced rates that are 20% below what other residents pay. More than 41,000 electric customers, nearly 14,000 natural gas customers, and 6,000 water customers received discounts. Furthermore, another discount rate program helped qualifying low-income residential customers pay their telephone bills. Qualifying customers of Frontier, West Virginia, and Citizens Telecommunications enjoyed discounts totaling $86,000.
You know, there are a couple of more things that we want to talk about before the end of the show. But we're going to take a break right now and watch one more of your videos. This one was really popular, so let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Charlotte Lane, Chairman of the Public Service Commission of West Virginia. I turned on my car radio this morning and had to smile. John Denver's song, Country Roads, was playing, which always makes me happy. As I listened to the lyrics, my mind drifted to the people who use our highways every day as they travel through our mountains. We are a friendly bunch, not only offering hospitality, but caring about the safety of others. I have often watched a mountaineer stop to change a flat or check on a stranded motorist. We care about people. The Public Service Commission's officers perform inspections on the large trucks and buses that travel our highways to make sure that they meet strict safety regulations. They also man the weigh stations that help keep commercial motor vehicles in compliance with state and federal regulations. Country Roads is just one of West Virginia's 4 official state songs. It captures the core of our natural wonders and the spirit of our people. Our people make this land unique, but the beauty and our culture add to the magical nature of the state we call home. When Denver sings "Life is Old Here," Older than the trees, I am reminded of the deep-rooted history that breathes life into every corner of our great state. As you journey through our rolling hills to explore our hidden treasures, let John Denver's song remind you of what makes West Virginia so special. Take a moment to be grateful for the officers who help to keep you safe as you travel our beautiful country roads. After all, this is almost heaven.
That was so popular the first time we released it that I just wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to see it, because that was such a wonderful take on country roads and the beauty of our state. Continuing our conversation, another thing that I know was accomplished last year, there was a lot of work done by the Gas Pipeline Safety Division.
The Commission's Pipeline Safety Division oversees safety compliance for 96 gas and hazardous liquid pipeline operators and more than 16,000 miles of pipeline in West Virginia. Last year, gas pipeline safety officers spent 657 days performing inspections.
Wow. Now, I know that we're nearing the end of our time together again. It seems to go so fast. But is there anything else that you would like to share about the PSC's activities in 2023?
Well, we started looking into the issue of fire hydrants and who was responsible for them and whether or not these fire hydrants are actually working, because we wanted to give the public confidence that when a fire hydrant is needed, that they work. And so we discovered that there were lots of things that needed to be done, and so we asked the legislature to pass a law this year to give the Public Service Commission the ability to promulgate rules and regulations relating to the inspection and marking of fire hydrants. And so the legislature passed it. The governor hopefully will be signing it soon, and then we are going to look extensively into fire hydrants throughout the state, and there are about 50,000 of them, and we want to make sure that they are all meeting national standards as far as being inspected and having the water flow that they're supposed to put out fires, and that the fire hydrants are, if they need to be replaced, we want them to be replaced. So that's what we're going to be doing this year, because the public deserves to have working fire hydrants.
And that is what I know about you. You are all about putting the service in the Public Service Commission. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me again today. That's all the time that we have. Thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome.
And thanks also to everyone who's watching. We'll see you next time on Inside the PSC.